Frank Mulvey.
He was wounded in Operation Tombola.
Yes, yes.
You remember him?
Well, I don't remember him very well. It was a very large operation, and we were spread over a different area.
Yeah, I remember you were on the Mount Cusna, right? Preparing the counterattack.
And I was actually in charge of the Italian.
And then you were also building the counterattack refugees place on the Mount Cusna during the attack on the villas, right?
Roy Farron was very concerned. He thought there might be, after the attack there, there might be a general German, what do you call it? A large attack by the Germans on the Italian villas. Actually, they went as far as Villa Calvi, and they destroyed the village there and killed a lot of the men. And, I was sent with one other man.
With the Russel Kershaw.
Kershaw, yes.
Yeah.
To find if it was possible to cross Mount Cusna and not go the passes at the end, but go right over the middle to escape the Germans. And we went with a guide who was horrified because he said, well, you must have skis and proper boots and equipment and to do this. And he took us a certain amount of the way and said, no, I advise you to turn back. You won't get over there. It's the sign of the cross. he dedicated us to death, the shelter on the top, and spent the night there, but it was the coldest night I've ever spent. It was like being in a freezer.
I know Mount Cusna because I usually go to ski there. So
you do, yes?
Yes. So I know that up there is freezing in the night.
Yes. Well, there was 3 foot of snow inside, and no wood or anything else like that.
And then you went down. Because I read on your memories that Kershaw was before the war a member of the Olympic team for the British, right?
That's right, yes.
For the bob, what it was?
Yes. Well, he helped. We did we came down the east side. Turned down the east side, sitting on our bottoms. He was the leader.
So it was like to be in the Olympic game for him.
Yeah.
But not for you. It was more scaring.
But then we couldn't get our boots off for a couple of days, and when we did get our boots off, we had frostbite in the snow.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Frostbite in the...
So it was like a mission impossible to cross Mount Cusna.
Impossible without the correct equipment.
Yeah, impossible, yeah.
Skis, you needed skis.
Yes, but you were able to ski, right?
No, we walked.
You just walked, and then you went down...
3 foot deep snow.
And then you went down with Kershaw on your bottom when you went down.
Yes.
So it was not a proper bob use.
No, it had no luge or bogan or anything like that.
Yeah.
And we hadn't the correct clothing either.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And the guy said, you can't go without the thing.
Yeah. You make...
I have done skiing.
Yes.
Both in Switzerland at Adelboden and Kandersteg. And also after the war, we used to go to Madonna di Campiglio, where they had the Olympics.
Cortina
d'Ampezzo. So they all went black.
And Kershaw is dead? Yes.
I don't know. I don't think he's alive.
You never met him anymore after the war?
I never met him again, no. Well, of course, the SAS was disbanded in September.
Yeah.
Now, I was invited up to Hereford, to the SAS headquarters, in September, and it was the last reunion of the wartime members of the SAS. And do you know how many they managed to collect?
How many?
Only 50.
Of Tombola, I think just you and Kirkpatrick are alive.
Yes.
Kirkpatrick is still alive, the Pipers. I found him.
Including 2 ladies who had dropped into France.
Yes.
With the partisans there. There were 2 or 3 French members of the resistance and a couple of Belgians, and the total was only 50. But we had a wonderful reunion there. But
how many? Do you know how many? If other people of Tombola, included you and Kirkpatrick, are alive? No, eh?
I don't know of any. I was one of the younger members, and I am now. I will be 90 in March.
Yeah.
22.
Yeah, 22. Because
I went to Bologna. I met some of them.
And you were also in Albinea in 2006.
Albinea, we called him.
On the team that was shooting with the howitzer Molto Stanco to the city of Reggio, right?
Reggio Emilia, yes.
They were shooting.
We called it Molto Stanco.
Molto Stanco, yes. I thanks to you, I have the picture of it.
Yes, yes. We brought the gun back to England, and they came to England, and I was sent out to do a shooting in England, and when we arrived on this field firing area in Essex, we got the message that the Japanese war had ended, and so we let off all of our we fired all our shots and then went back to the barracks.
The 21st of April, a part of the Italian company went with the SAS close to Reggio Emilia, and they were shooting with Molto Stanco.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, I carried out 2 attacks on Route 12, and then went up to Monteforco and Monte Bonello, up the German staging route of Route 12 with Monte Bonello, but we didn't have the gun, big gun, had a heavy machine gun.
You were the one that buried Balerdi? That bring the body of Balerdi in Albinea?
His code name was Robert Bruce.
Robert Bruce, yes, exactly.
But I forget his original name.
Giusto Balerdi, Spaniard. It was called then Robert Bruce, exactly.
And his father was with me when we buried Bruce, Roberto Bruce, and in there. But we had to find his body out in the country, in a shallow grave, and move it back to where all the others were.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the cemetery at
close to Albinea, exactly.
Yeah, but they have been moved again. Milano, yes.
And then you were the one that has to take care about the Russian. Terrible, eh?
I had to disband myself and one Tenente Stevens, who was an Austrian. Stevens, and we had to parade the Russians company, and take their arms from them and put them on the train back to Russia. A few of them turned up, and their leader never came. And I noticed that a lot of them got on one side of the train and we got out of the other side.
Yeah, I know that Modena then got married. Yes, Victor Pirog of Modena got married with an Italian partisan.
Yes.
And then they went to live in South America.
Really?
Yes. And then there were another Russian that was called Lukianenko. He was also married with an Italian female because he was wounded, and so he didn't went to the train. In love with this Italian nurse, and they fall in love and they married together. And they had a child that I know, and then they went to live in Australia, but then they divorced. So another Russian stayed here because they know that if they were going back to Russia, Stalin was going to kill them.
Well, we didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't know that when we put them on the train, but then we heard that all those that had been sent back to Russia when they got to Russia, they were taken off the train and shot.
Shot or went to the Gulag?
Well, maybe Gulag, yes, probably.
Yeah, because some of them survived, I know. Because
we didn't know that. We knew that it was an order from Churchill, which we had to obey. We couldn't refuse to do it. But since the instigator of that order was Joe Stalin,
yeah,
that condemned the whole thing. We had a white Russian up on the operation, and he had been a big game hunter in East Africa, and he was well known to a cousin of mine who was in East Africa.
Yeah.
This fellow. And I met him on the operation.
No.
He was only a liaison with the Russian company.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a liaison.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't take much part in the operation.
Okay.
He was a visitor, as it were.
Mm-hmm. And it was, you met in...
He spoke Russian, of course. He spoke Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people, nobody else on the operation could speak Russian.
Yeah, of course.
That was why we were sent, Kershaw and I were sent by my phone to find if it was possible to get across the mountain. And we came back and we said, we do not recommend that 50 people should be sent there unless they have all the correct equipment.
Yes, exactly.
And of course you couldn't get that equipment.
No.
Anything else on the spot.
When you were staying up in the Mount Cusna area, you were sleeping in Secchio or Case Balocchi? Don't remember.
Oh no, there was
Febbio?
An old church we went to
sleep
up on the hill.
Maybe in a church of Secchio, Governara, no, Castiglione, Febbio.
No, I have seen a photograph.
Tapignola?
Tapignola. Yes, the church is Tapignola. It was an empty church.
Yeah, I know, the little church.
But we slept there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went on to Quara and
Quara also.
Well, I had the jeeps and
yeah, the jeeps in Quara.
The jeeps to be in charge of the with an Italian fellow called Tito.
Yeah, Tito, Remo Torlai.
In the Italian company.
You remember Tito?
Oh yes, I remember Tito.
Yeah, because I know the grandson of him, that is a quite good rugby player. He played in First Division in Italy. Tito died 2 years ago.
He was in the Italian army, I think.
Yes, he was in the Italian army.
Yeah, Italian army, yes.
And, you also saved the crew of an American airplane, right?
Well, that's right, yes. And I never heard anything about what happened to the people. Barbanera arranged for them to stay on a farm, and I saved 3 of them, but there were another 6. Yeah. The whole crew was 9, and he got the whole of the 9 together, and they stayed in this farmhouse, and there they stayed until the Allies broke through,
yeah,
and the Germans retreated, and then they came out of shelter, but we didn't know that. And then I happened to know an American airman